In some of the world's toughest jobs, think deep sea drilling or remote exploration. What if the biggest factor in landing a $1 billion contract wasn't the price tag, but safety? We're going to dig into how, in these incredibly high stakes fields, just keeping your workers safe has become the ultimate competitive edge. Now, to really get how safety can become a business strategy, we first have to learn this new language that's being spoken in boardrooms and by investors. See, organizations like the IFRS Foundation are creating a standardized way for companies to talk about sustainability, and they do it using something called SASB standards. It sounds complicated, I know, but the idea is actually super simple. Just like a nutritional label on your food tells you exactly what's inside, the good and the bad, these standards tell investors what's really going on inside a company. We're talking about their environmental impact, their ethics, and for our purposes, how they handle worker safety. It basically makes all that fuzzy stuff measurable. So here's our game plan. We'll start with this new global standard. Then we'll zoom right into one of the most dangerous industries on the planet. We'll look at the very real human risks that people face every day, see how safety gets turned into cold, hard data, and then finally, we'll connect all those dots to show how a safety culture can literally make or break a company. All right, so what are these standards that are changing the game? Well, they're a lot more than just friendly suggestions. They're becoming a seriously powerful tool for anyone trying to see what a company is really made of, way beyond the profits and losses. And here's the heart of it. SASB's standards aren't some one-size-fits-all thing. Nope, they're super specific. There's 77 of them, one for pretty much every industry you can think of. But the real key here is that they tie these sustainability issues directly to what investors care about most: financial performance. We're talking about real-world risks that can impact cash flow, your ability to get a loan, and the actual value of a business. Okay, so let's take all this theory and see how it works in the real world. We are going to zero in on the oil and gas services industry. I mean, these are the companies working on the absolute front lines in some of the most difficult conditions you can even imagine. Now, these probably aren't the big-name oil companies you're picturing. These are the specialized outfits they hire to do the really heavy lifting. They're the ones drilling the wells, building these massive rigs, doing the geological surveys, and supplying the expert crews who actually get the job done. Now, this right here is the key. This line is pulled straight from the standard itself, and it tells you everything you need to know. In this business, you're not just competing on price, you're competing on how safely you can do your job. Your reputation for safety becomes your calling card. It's everything. So why is safety such a make or break factor? Well, it's because the human cost in this industry can be unbelievably high. The risks that these workers face every single day are just beyond what most of us could ever imagine in our jobs. I mean, we are talking about brutal weather conditions, handling materials that are literally explosive, and being exposed to hazardous waste. The chance of an accident that causes a serious, life-altering injury, that's a constant reality. This is the immediate danger, the kind you can see. But then you have the invisible threats, the ones that build up over time. The standards make a point to call out these chronic health risks, like the lung diseases caused by inhaling silica dust during things like hydraulic fracturing. This is a danger that won't show up in a dramatic accident report, but it can be just as devastating years down the road. So to manage all these risks and, more importantly, to prove to clients that they're on top of their game, companies can't just say, "Hey, trust us, we're safe." They have to prove it. And the way they do that is by turning safety into numbers, using very specific metrics. First up, you have something called TRIR. That's the Total Recordable Incident Rate. The easiest way to think about this is it's the metric for any injury that's more serious than just needing a Band-Aid. Did somebody have to take a day off work? Were they put on light duty? Did they need to see a doctor? If the answer is yes, it gets recorded. It gives you a really broad overview of how many serious things are happening. Next is the most serious, most sobering metric of all, the fatality rate. It is a stark, black and white number that measures the ultimate failure in workplace safety. In an industry like this one, tracking this is just absolutely essential. And this one is really fascinating. It's the near-miss frequency rate. This number tracks all the things that almost went wrong. A tool that was dropped from high up but didn't hit anyone. A valve that almost blew but was caught just in time. What's crazy is that a high rate here doesn't necessarily mean a company is unsafe.
In fact, it often means they have an amazing culture where people feel safe reporting close calls, which helps everyone learn and prevent a real disaster from ever happening. So you put it all together and you basically get a safety dashboard. You've got your lagging indicators, the stuff that already happened, like incidents and fatalities. Then you've got your leading indicator, the near misses that warn you about the future. And you even track proactive stuff, like how many hours of safety training people are getting. Together, these numbers give you a really complete picture of a company's safety health. Okay, so here's the final, most important piece of the puzzle. How does all this data, all these reports and numbers, actually translate into winning business? This is where we see the direct line from a safety report to a signed sealed contract. And there it is, right there in black and white. This isn't just a theory. The standard flat out says that customers, we're talking the giant energy companies, are looking at this data. They are judging companies based on their safety records. Having a low incident rate and zero fatalities isn't just something to be proud of, it's a powerful sales tool. This lays out the chain of events perfectly. It all starts with a real investment in creating a culture where safety is number one. That investment directly leads to better numbers on those key metrics we talked about. And when your numbers are good, you build a rock-solid reputation. And what does that reputation do? It wins you contracts. Simple as that. And that, right there, is the main takeaway from all of this. In the high-stakes, high-risk world of energy services, being safe isn't just about doing the right thing. It's about smart business. It protects your people, and it protects your bottom line. So it all leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. We've just seen how you can actually measure something like safety and connect it directly to financial value. So what's next? What other important values, from employee well-being to community impact, are just waiting to be measured, managed, and turned into a core part of how we define a successful business?